everyone, welcome back to Simplilearn's YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into a super important topic that affects everyone, phishing attacks. As cybercriminals get more sophisticated, it's important for us to stay one step ahead. So in this video, I'll be walking you through what phishing is, how it works, some famous examples of phishing attacks, different types of phishing, how to protect yourself, and what to do if you ever fall victim. So let's jump right in. What is phishing? To start, let's talk about what a phishing attack really is. In simple terms, phishing is a type of scam where hackers pretend to be legitimate people or companies to steal your personal information, whether it's your passwords, bank details, or even social security number. They typically do this through emails, text messages, or fake websites that seem genuine at first glance. But phishing attacks don't just rely on fake emails. They use a psychological trick known as social engineering. Now, social engineering is all about manipulating people into making poor decisions, like clicking on a malicious link or sharing personal information. Let's take an example. Imagine you work in a company and one day you get an urgent email from someone who looks like your boss. The email says, "I'm in a meeting right now, but I need you to send me the financial reports immediately. Click here to access a secure file." Because it's your boss and the message sounds urgent, you might not think twice and click the link. But that's where the trick is. The link wasn't real, and now the hacker has the access to the company's sensitive data. So social engineering works because it plays on human emotions like fear, urgency, trust, and leads you to make hasty decisions without double-checking. So phishing attacks are serious business, and they have caused some of the most damaging data breaches in history. Let's take a look at some of the most famous examples. First, let's talk about the Sony Pictures hack in 2014. This is one of the most well-known phishing incidents. It all started when Sony employees received phishing emails that looked completely legitimate. Some employees clicked on the links in these emails, which gave hackers access to Sony's internal network. And the result? Over 100 terabytes of data were stolen, including unreleased movies, confidential employee information, and thousands of internal emails. The leaked data caused major damage to Sony's reputation and led to lawsuits. It was one of the most costly cyber attacks of its time. Another incredible phishing incident involved both Facebook and Google. Between 2013 and 2015, a single hacker managed to scam these tech giants out of over $100 million. How did he do it? The hacker, Evaldus, pretended to be a hardware supplier that both companies did business with. He sent phishing emails with fake invoices that looked exactly like the real thing. Because the emails were so convincing, the finance departments of the Facebook and Google didn't question them and wired the money directly to the attacker's account. So these famous examples show that phishing can affect anyone, from everyday people to major corporations. So let's talk about how they work step by step when hackers actually try to steal your information. But before that, if you're interested in becoming a cybersecurity expert, this is the course for you. Ranked 1 by Career Karma, our program prepares you for CEH, CompTIA, and CISSP certification. Learn from industry experts and get access to the official EC Council kit, including lab and exam vouchers. Master strategies to secure your infrastructure from cyber threats and architect cloud-based security. This 6-month online bootcamp offers hands-on learning with 8 times higher interaction, simulation tests, and real-world projects. Enroll now and secure your future in cybersecurity. You can find the course link in the description box and pinned comments. So, how does a phishing attack unfold? Let's break it into easy steps. Step 1. Phishing attacks typically start with a carefully crafted message, often in the form of an email or text. This message will look like it's from a legitimate company, like your bank, a popular service like PayPal, or even someone you personally know. Hackers usually use several techniques to make these emails look authentic. One common technique is domain spoofing. This is when hackers create a domain that looks almost identical to the legitimate website, but with subtle differences. For example, instead of paypal.com, they might use paypal1.com or pay-pal.com. Because most people glance at the sender's email address quickly, they don't notice the subtle change. The next step is to get the victim to visit a fake website. When you click on the link in the phishing email, you're often redirected to a website that looks exactly like the real thing. These fake websites are often designed to perfectly mimic the official login pages of services like your bank or email provider. To create these fake websites, hackers often use what's called a phishing kit. Now, phishing kits are pre-built tools that make it easy for attackers to clone real websites. The hacker then hosts the fake website on a malicious server or uses DNS spoofing, where they manipulate the DNS records to redirect users, from the legitimate website to their fake version without the victim knowing. Now, once you land on the fake website, the next step is for the hacker to collect your information. So these fake pages are designed to look identical to the real ones. So when you enter your username and password, you think you're logging in securely. But hear what's happening in the background. Phishing sites use various methods to capture the information you type in. One common technique is form jacking, where the form on the website is modified to send the data directly to the attacker's server. Alternately, hackers can use key logging malware that records every keystroke you make, capturing usernames, passwords, and even credit card information as you type. So to make the fake site even more convincing, attackers often secure it with a real SSL certificate. Now this means the website might show up as secure with a padlock symbol in your browser, making you believe it's legitimate. So this is why it's important to check more than just the HTTPS in the URL. Now once the hacker has your data, they can use it in various ways. The most common method is using your stolen credentials to log into your accounts. This is known as credential stuffing. But they can also use your personal information for identity theft, or they might sell your data on the dark web. But phishing isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Hackers use several different types of phishing attacks, and each one is designed for a specific target or method. So now let's talk about the different types of phishing attacks. First, we have general phishing, which is the most common and broad type. So in this type of attack, hackers send out thousands or even millions of phishing emails to random people, hoping that a small percentage will fall for the scam. For example, let's say you receive an email that looks like it's from a popular company like Netflix. The email says something like, your payment method has failed, click here to update your information. You click the link and it takes you to a fake Netflix login. When you enter your details, they are sent straight to the hacker. These attacks are sent out to as many people as possible. Whoever falls for it, falls for it. It's all about volume with general phishing. Next is spear phishing. So unlike general phishing, spear phishing is much more targeted. So the attacker picks a specific individual or company and tailors the attack to that person or group. So spear phishing requires some research and planning. So it's more sophisticated than general phishing. For example, imagine you work in the finance department of a company and you receive an email from someone pretending to be the CEO. The email says, he's unable to transfer the money to the partner company and asks you to transfer it. So since it appears to be from your boss and it sounds urgent, you might be tempted to complete the transfer without questioning it. That's the goal of spear phishing. Because the email is personalized and often uses real names or insider informations, it's much easier to fall for it. So this makes spear phishing especially dangerous for businesses. Now let's talk about whaling, which is similar to spear phishing but with a bigger target. So whaling specifically targets high-ranking individuals like CEOs, CFOs, or other executives. So these attacks are often highly sophisticated because the stakes are so high. Let's say a hacker sends an email to the CFO of a large corporation, pretending to be a lawyer representing the company. So the email contains a fake warrant, asking the CFO to click a link to download important legal documents. Because it's a legal matter and appears highly official, the CFO clicks the link, which leads to malware being installed on the company's network. So whaling attacks are dangerous because they often involve larger sums of money or more sensitive information. So when high-level executives fall for these scams, the consequences can be disastrous. Next comes SEO phishing. So SEO phishing takes a different approach. So instead of targeting individuals with emails or text messages, hackers create fake websites and manipulate search engines so that these sites show up at the top of search results. So people who are searching for services or products may unknowingly click on these malicious websites. For example, imagine you are trying to log into Bank of America and you search for Bank of America login. So a phishing site could show up at the top of the result, looking exactly like the original website. You fill out the form, entering your personal and payment information. But instead of going to the bank, all of that information goes straight to the hacker. So SEO phishing works because we trust search engines to lead us to legitimate sites. Hackers take advantage of that trust by manipulating search engine algorithms to display their malicious sites. And finally, there's smishing, which stands for SMS phishing. Smishing involves sending fraudulent messages through SMS or text. So these texts often appear to come from a trusted source, like your bank or a delivery service, and contain a link that leads to a phishing site. For example, let's say you get a text that looks like it's from a delivery company such as FedEx, telling you to set your delivery preferences. The message includes a link to do the same. When you click the link, it takes you to a fake FedEx site that asks for your name, address, and credit card information to cover delivery fees. So smishing is effective because people tend to trust text messages more than emails, especially when they are on the go and may not scrutinize a message as closely. Anyways, fortunately, there are several things you can do to protect yourself from phishing attacks. So first and foremost, always think before you click. If you get an email or text asking you to click a link, stop and think. Does this look suspicious? Hover over the link to see where it actually leads before you click. Next, don't upload personal information online. Be careful where you share your personal information online. Hackers often gather details from social media or public profiles to make their phishing attempts more convincing. So make sure to keep your software, operating system, and apps updated. Regular updates include security patches that protect against known vulnerabilities. Next is use antivirus and email security. Install a good antivirus program and use email services with phishing filters. These tools can block many phishing emails before they even reach your inbox. And lastly, use a secure DNS service. This can prevent you from even accessing malicious websites, adding an extra layer of protection. Now, even with these precautions, phishing attacks can sometimes be successful. So what happens if you're already fallen a victim? Let's talk about what to do after a phishing attack. So if you realize you have fallen for a phishing attack, don't panic. There are steps you can take to minimize the damage. First, report the attack to cybercrime authorities. In many countries, there are dedicated teams that handle online fraud, and the faster they are notified, the better. Next, change the passwords for any accounts that may have been compromised. Make sure each password is unique and avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. Next, enable multi-factor authentication on your accounts. MFA adds an extra step, like a code sent to your phone, which makes it harder for hackers to gain access. And lastly, run a full malware scan on your devices. If you clicked a link or downloaded something from the phishing attack, malware might have been installed. So it's important to remove it as quickly as possible. And there you have it. We have covered everything you need to know about phishing attacks, from how they work, the different types, to some real-life examples of phishing disasters, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more such videos. Thanks for watching.
Craving a career upgrade? Subscribe, like, and comment below. Dive into the link in the description to fast-track your ambitions. Whether you're making a switch or aiming higher, Simplilearn has your back.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.